Right, thanks for staying with us. There's quite a lot to look at this morning in the papers, about 5 of them. But first off, let's introduce our guest, who is not new, TVC senior researcher Cyril Abaku. Good morning, good to see you.
Morning, ladies.
And you're looking like
dapper.
a Good Friday.
It's a good, not Good Friday, but a
Friday.
Good Friday. Yeah.
You know what I mean, and I know what you mean. Okay, let's begin with the punch. The credentials, my credentials, still with military, Buhari tells INEC, and over 70 candidates to contest presidential poll. Atiku declares 60.2 million naira income and 10.8 million naira tax payment. Okay, interesting stories there. Credentials still with the military. Is it that President Buhari does not have any of his credentials with him? Because that's a question where, you know, that's what we were talking about before we came on.
Absolutely.
Well, we have to look at it this way to say that the president swore oath. He swore an affidavit as deponent to say that his documents were still with the Secretary of the Military. So, in principle or in law, if that were not true, then it's perfidy. But I suppose that, I mean, if he scaled it through in 2015, there's nothing really holding him back this time.
Yeah,
So,
okay. All right, so INEC can
I mean,
feel free to check with the
except,
military.
you know, traditionally, as some of our lawyers like to do, if they want to still go ahead and to test the waters and say, produce these things and let's mandate the military, whatever, to produce this,
the documents.
yes, and so on. Then maybe, but for me, I think that if he scaled it through the first one, as I said, he,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, and Atiku, of course, has been declaring his income and tax payment. FG states, LGs, that's local governments, record 43 billion naira shortfall in allocation. Not very good piece of news there.
We are not expanding opportunities for opening up the revenue profile of Nigeria.
And the revenue sources.
And I can give you many instances. The sectors we are supposedly living untapped are sectors where illegal people are making a heck of money. It will interest you to know that as of 2015, somebody said that in a space of 2 years, you know, illegal miners had made away with about 8 trillion naira. You've never heard us losing money in the oil sector that much. But the fact remains that now, some days ago, government issued license was to issue license to people who will do gold refining.
Yes.
But again, we need broader policy spreadsheets, if that's what I should call it, and to say, if we don't even have, if we've not industrialized, we will only take gold, like we take crude.
And
and recall that just...
And then we will be in this country like it is with Ghana, where their presidential mansion is not built in gold, but people that don't have gold are building theirs in gold. And so we pack our raw materials and sell it out, sell out our destiny, and then they in turn refine and export
processed products. I recall earlier this year that the former minister of course, mining talked about, raised alarm really, of some foreigners benefiting from our mining industry.
Yes, of course they are. And again, look, you only need to go on Google, or let's even say Wikipedia, and check out how each state in this country is specifically blessed. When we talk about,
you know what, let's move
from
on.
uranium,
From uranium
to iron ore and so on. What
even
we need to
before crude oil was discovered in the country.
we were doing so well. Any nation in the world
Cyril,
that
you know
takes
what?
agriculture for
There's still
granted
other stories to look
is
at.
an irresponsible country.
There you go.
Just had to
Spot on. Voting for Buhari will return power to Southwest in 2023, and that's according to BRF. Babatunde Raji Fashola, Minister for Works,
Power and Housing.
Power and Housing. Okay, missing general. Police declare village head, others wanted. Okay, they seem to be suspecting them to be involved in this. Ganduje's bribery videos authentic, says journalist. Dixon renews call for restructuring and peaceful elections. So many other stories there from the Punch.
Okay, so we go to the Nation newspaper. Major story. I earned 60.2 million naira in 3 years. Atiku tells INEC with 2 riders. PDP candidates paid 10.3 million naira tax. Buhari's papers with military, so we'll leave that since we already talked about it. FAC, Federal Government, States Council share 698.7 billion naira. We talked about the shortfall of the sharing earlier, so we go to the top of the paper from the left. 67 road projects on in Southwest. That's the Super Minister Raji Fashola talking there. Then 20 dead in Benue boat accident. Very
Yes.
sad
To
incident
think they
that
were
happened.
they were actually
traveling.
crossing the waters to go for a burial themselves. I mean,
Yes,
very
and I
sad.
think that if you look at what is going on now, that the River Benue axis particularly, I mean, this happened in Katsina, but if you look at what is going on generally, even in Lagos here, I think whenever these accidents happen, we basically carry out emergency response, and then we want to see how we can get the bodies out and so on. 40
And
people,
then it ends there.
It ends there. I think that we also need to investigate these things as criminal act. You know, don't rule anything out. You can investigate as, because go to the average jetty, those life jackets that they give you, in some cases are particularly worn out, they are torn. So people that have been crossing that river for so long, suddenly there was an accident, and how did it even happen that more people just died like that?
Exactly.
Perished.
Exactly.
So I think it's not, when I mean criminal, it doesn't have to mean that somebody was targeting them.
Yeah.
What are the
But
procedures?
they did not do
But-
what was needed.
but that's-
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that is,
Preventive
always, that
maintenance.
is what is always done, most usually after a boat mishap across Nigeria, that you would want to do investigation, there would be an outcry. But after a while, you
That's
go
it.
back to status quo, and until it happens again, nobody talks
But
about
that
it
is
anymore.
why waterways authorities,
Okay.
both
Need to do more.
federal and state, ought to be in collaboration, and then you earmark high risk areas, and see how you can deploy there. The same threat people face on the roads and make you deploy the military. There are also threats on the seas, because what is at stake is,
Absolutely.
of course.
Sea
So deploy
pirates.
people there so that
All
in
right.
case anything happens, they can they can easily step in.
Okay, so another story here, 84 million to vote, says INEC. INEC released the figure when a delegation from the African Union met with the chairman of the commission, saying that 84 million eligible voters would go to the polls to select their candidates to get to office.
I think it's fine. I mean, 83 million voters, let's say roughly 80 presidential candidates, a population of about 200 people.
200
About
million.
74
million
presidential
people.
candidates now.
The ratio is
26.
not that bad. I mean, as of 1993, we were 88 million or so, and then we had about 40 million
total,
voters.
yeah.
So you look at the ratio, it's healthy. But the question you want to ask yourself is that, you see, these people with PVC, how will INEC ensure that for the first time this year, for the first time in electoral history, we're going to have it as legally provided for as possible.
Yeah.
Now, for instance, you hear INEC say that people shouldn't spend more than so and so amount for elections. I think for president, they say it should be 5
they've been
billion.
putting
yes,
some
it's
cap
always
on it, but
exactly.
it's just,
But Aziza-
is it as good as the paper
Aziza,
is written on?
You see, many times we are just a bit too idealistic. The fact is that to get what you spend, ask anybody what you spend to secure your ticket within the party is like 4 or 5 times what you spend to win an election.
We just
Let's
got a
just-
figure of
And
how
so-
much
so-
APC
yes,
made
that
from
one
the
now.
sale of
Okay.
forms. Just a
Moving
few days
on.
ago, the
So
amount APC made
yes,
from
so
the sale
tell
of
them that
forms.
you
All
have
right, let's just move on. Pensioners to smile soon. Akala's trial stalled. 276 Ogun APC councillors for Abiodun, and NAF jets destroy Boko Haram base.
Okay, New Telegraph. I'm so excited about this 66-year-old couple that actually gave birth to their first child after 40 years of marriage. Very, very exciting one. It happened in Ogun State via IVF. I suffered 4 major health issues before giving birth at 67, says retired matron. Okay, that's a pointer to people who are believing for the fruit of the womb there. Never give up. Power will return to the Southwest in 2023 if Buhari wins. Fashola.
You know, this Fashola claim, I suppose that either now or in the nearest future, somebody will say he didn't speak for us. He was because I understand that appears to be the groundwork. But you know, when Boss Mustafa went to Imo, was Imo which of those? And we were saying the future of the Igbo. Because take it or leave it,
yes.
that's it. So he was saying the future of the Igbo
Lies
with voting for
Buhari.
Buhari for 20. Because so
Now, it seems 2023 now has become a carrot to
But I
Yeah,
think some
dangled
support
before
for
the Southwest
Southeast
and
and
the
Southwest.
if you ask me, I think some people should not be fooled. They should never be fooled.
In
because
fact, nobody should be
nobody should be fooled, really. So, it's up to them. You can read between the lines and see where the thing is going. Because whoever wins the elections next year is going to constitute a major paradigm shift
Absolutely.
But really, is this what Nigerians want to hear? Or that, look, vote Buhari because he will do this and this and the other?
They need to hear
Build
that.
on his gains, absolutely. Instead
Yeah.
of saying
They
that,
need- they need
if
to
you
hear
vote
that.
for him,
he'll deliver
he
on
will vote for
governance.
you.
Because he's
Absolutely.
the best man for the job.
They
Simple.
need to hear both. They
Really?
need to hear both. You know, the irony of our job as journalists sometimes is that today we can be on this side and tomorrow we can be on the other side.
We're not on any
But
side.
no. Don't
We only just
don't
put
get
it
me
out
wrong.
as it is.
Cyril,
And
it's
guys,
funny
don't get
really
me
because we
wrong.
just talked
Yeah.
about 2023 now becoming a tool you dangle, you know, a gift you dangle between the Southeast and the Southwest. So how is that a truthful way really of getting votes to your side?
No, okay. So this is a picture. I'm a journalist, you know, but today I'm speaking as an analyst.
Yes.
That's why I said today you can be on this and tomorrow you can be on the other side.
Okay.
This is the fact. The Southwest backed Buhari. Something must give in return. You don't do for that. So they've given it to him. He has done if he does 2 terms, it is only just it is only justice.
Yeah, but some will
that
tell
he
you
looks
that-
back.
All right,
some
let's
will
move
tell
on.
you the
Let's move on.
Southwest
It's a
already
political
has a
space.
vice
Let's move on.
president.
It's a political space.
Oh, don't
Because
even, let's not get involved
Let's
in this
move on.
now. Okay, moving on very quickly. Biafra Defense Headquarters vows to crush Kano's hell threat. Of course, Kano has been threatening all the way from Jerusalem in Israel that he will come back to Nigeria with hell. Troops kill 35 criminals, arrest 98 suspects in 2 weeks. Let's just leave all this hard stuff. Stress.
How do you come
stress,
back from
stress.
Jerusalem with him? Even if the government said it was not there.
All right.
Cyril
Daily-
Abaku, stress may impair memory and thinking skills. So don't get stressed.
Daily Sun right now. 40 feared dead in boat tragedy. We talked about it. But the riders, as Benue government, rights groups, lawyers demand justice over raped to death minor. Randy lecturer remanded, son flees. A very terrible incident that happened to a minor in this country. And she died in the process after contacting VVF. So many female rights groups went out on the streets yesterday to demand justice. So
And
the
this
man is
lecturer
remanded
is
in
just
prison.
not some
The son has
random man.
fled.
It's her uncle.
From 8 years, she was defiled by father and son.
Now, as terrible and as bad as the story is, I think we will be more heartbroken if this man, just think about it, if this man went to court and didn't get a commensurate sentencing. So my advice is take away the sentiment for now, carry out a thorough, proper investigation,
Well said.
get on impeachable evidence, and go to court. No judge will give it to you on a platter.
True.
So you go to court, diligently prosecute your case, and that justice, you know, in a case, this kind of thing they call special cases.
Yeah.
True.
A case like this, justice, I think, depends more on what we bring to the to court than what the public knows about the case. So, I personally, how do I put this? I feel for the family, my sympathy, my empathy, everything. But I think that the onus is on government and the groups to get a proper crack team.
Speaking of the
Because
Put this
families,
case
some
together,
the burden of
go to
evidence-
court and then make sure that
the
some
burden
are
of
already
evidence is
saying
on the
this is going to be
prosecution
solved as a family matter. I wonder how you want to treat this as a family
No,
matter.
It's
it
already
shouldn't
beyond
be.
that, really,
It is
because
not a
it's
civil
already-
matter.
the police
A
is already
crime-
in charge of
A
it.
crime against the state is a criminal. So
Exactly.
they are not under
It's
criminal
beyond
procedure.
them already.
That's what I'm saying. That you see, they should go to court and make sure that this case is prosecuted diligently, and then the man gets, or whoever is, is indicted, gets proper sentencing.
Yes.
All right, the father has been remanded in prison anyway. Okay, so 2019, why Ambode didn't get return ticket? Kebbi governor talking there. IPOB, we will deal with Kanu if DHQ talking. Then once against stockpiling of arms for 2019, and that's a worry there. Really, we've been hearing this constantly now, almost every day, that some people really have been stockpiling arms, and it's even made President Muhammadu Buhari to meet with service chiefs on the matter.
Look, I have my reservations about some of these bridges that they throw in the press. Nigeria has the highest number of light arms and weapons. What this
70%
arms proliferation
arms
in
in
sub-Saharan
West
Africa,
Africa.
right? Or West Africa, we have the highest. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw a report that said there were 350 million illegal firearms in the country.
Yes.
What is the issue of people stockpiling anything anymore? We have seen people in Rivers State that, I think twice, military paraphernalia and weapons. We saw those people that were caught at the post, not once, not twice.
Meaning they are
Heads
still,
have not rolled.
Cyril, meaning they are
Yeah.
still smuggling in arms.
Good,
That's
heads have not rolled.
the
What
idea.
we have is enough for us to be afraid sufficiently as a nation. If there are more guns in Nigeria than there are individuals, We should be worried sufficiently. So to now begin to turn it into saying people are stockpiling arms ahead of the elections is for me, is playing to the gallery. Yeah. The herdsmen crisis, nobody did anything. Suddenly they are quiet. Me, I have, it's like somebody sitting somewhere and remote controlling what's happening in this country. I have my reservations in Ngozi.
There's more to it than
there's more to it. Don't play politics is about people's lives. I know that people like to politic, but elections, the destiny of Nigeria depends on who we vote for.
That's right.
On who we put where. So for people to begin to abuse the trust that they should normally be enjoying as public officers and be turning out all kinds of news.
So stockpiling of arms is no longer news.
Don't play it in that way.
Moving on. We have our last paper this morning. Daily Trust. Commission frustrates birth registration by charging fees. Okay. Well, the headline is our main concern right now. Bribe. Kano panel to review video in Ganduje's presence. Clips authentic and not doctored. Publisher tells committee. Of course, he's been answering to the Kano State Assembly on the veracity or otherwise of this claims.
Well, I do not know if there was...
and we hear Ganduje is planning to go to court too.
No, I mean, it's fine, but I do not know if there was an expert. Is the forensic expert of somebody who will be able to ascertain
on that part?
Yes,
the authenticity of the
clip. But I think that eventually that will also come in.
Of course.
If that is true, in any case, if it happens that it's true, then I think we must allow the law to take its course. The panel of the lawmakers understand the implications of such a video clip and the content that it carries and what the law should expect them to do normally. That process should be allowed to take its full course. If the governor wants to go to court, it is his own fundamental human right as well. He too should go to court. But I think let us allow the drama play out within the ambit of the law.
And
yesterday we saw children.
Yes,
we saw children.
Protests.
We saw children. Who wrote this?
The same Kano where we were told about underage voting.
Absolutely.
You remember?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's just leave it there. What else do we have? INEC publishes particulars of presidential candidates. Okay, so Nigerians, there you go. Now you have a list of presidential candidates and their particulars, what they stand for, who they are.
About 70 of them.
76 political parties.
How easy would it be to actually read up on all of these people and find out exactly what they have to offer?
You know, the Nigerians that
to make that
Nigerians really go through their
agenda. We're going to have this long ballot paper, and then INEC will say APP, CCP, Abaku, PPP, so
all right.
You know, and so on. So what normally takes Saturday and Sunday to accomplish may not begin to take
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Needlessly.
Okay, moving on. Judicial system not designed to ensure peace. That's the CJN.
You said what?
Judicial system not designed to ensure peace. CJN says. If we were to take this at face value, it will come as a surprise, but we need to go through and find out exactly what he's talking about to reach a conclusion.
Well, then you know what they say, that the court is not a Father Christmas. Yes, it's just to interpret the law, really. So it's not about uniting people, it's about interpreting the law.
All right, top politicians sponsoring cultists in Lagos. That's according to the police. And why we removed VAT from airfares. Federal government. That's it.
On the newspaper review, Cyril Abaku, thank you for staying with us. But we'll still keep you anyway for our first discussion.